Heartstopper is one of those shows that I immediately wish that I had when I was growing up as a young queer person. It has such a rich, diverse, and sweetly British way of looking at young queer relationships. So when I heard that the second season was going to be getting some AroAce rep, I was so excited. Mostly because as an asexual myself, I know how little we get represented in media. Honestly, I can probably count on one hand all of the canonically ace or aro characters that have been shown in the last 100 years of film, television, cartoons, video games, all of that. And then, not gonna lie, I completely forgot about the show, mostly because of the actor strikes that were going on. But while I was recovering from food poisoning last month, I thought, you know what would make this just a little bit better? Seeing some of my own lived experiences being played out on screen. Like I said before, I am on the asexual spectrum, so seeing good ace rep just makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Come to find out that this rep was trash. Yeah, no, it was actually like garbage, which I find really weird because I want to say that the writer of Heartstopper is AroAce themselves, so you would think that would help out a bit, but no. Which is so sad because I actually think Isaac, who is the AroAce rep, is one of the most underrated and underutilized characters in the whole show. Now, we don't really see a lot of Isaac in the first season. Come to think of it, I don't really feel like he talked that much in the first episode, if at all. I'm pretty sure someone can fact check me down below if he actually had lines in the first episode, but I really don't remember him having any. Which I find really sad because he is part of the original group with Tao, Elle, and Charlie, but he gets completely sidelined during the whole season. While the other characters have their own arcs, like Charlie dealing with being outed as gay from a year ago and still being bullied from that, and having his feelings for Nick come up, Tao being really anxious about his friend group falling apart and he in his own way trying to stop that, Elle being at a new school and making new friends. Isaac is the only one of the original 4 that really doesn't get any screen time at all. Hell, even Imogen gets more screen time than Isaac does. The most we learn about him in the first season is that he's super into books, which I personally think is adorable, but also is kind of a hindrance to his character. And he just wants to see all his other friends get along. Again, not a bad thing at all, but he's just not as fleshed out as all of the other characters around him, and it definitely makes him feel a little flat a lot of the time. So just a disclaimer, I'm fully basing this analysis off of what we see in the show. I haven't read Heartstopper, the graphic novel, so if he gets more characterization there, please also let me know. I might do a video on Isaac from the books, not just the TV show, if any of you want to see that. But yeah, the first season he doesn't really say much and is essentially a glorified background extra. And this isn't to say that there's anything wrong with quiet characters. I think there is a way to go about writing a more laid-back, quiet character and still have them be an active part of the plot compared to what was done with Isaac in the first season. So I was really excited to see more of him in season 2 after it was announced that there would be AroAce rep in the show. Mostly because they did hint at him not being super into relationships in the first season. So I was like, dope. Hopefully they'll build on that. However, they completely fumbled the ball with him in season 2. Honestly, I was watching with anticipation for season 3 because I knew that season 3 to about 8 is when we were going to start seeing this rep take place and have our AroAce subplot. And oh my god, I was so disappointed. This is the episode where we get introduced to James, who is the other gay student at Truman. Their first interactions are really sweet, and when they go off together at the beginning of the bonfire scene, we can see that Nick and Charlie are a bit surprised by this new connection. And we even get a coded romance scene with Isaac and James, where Isaac looks over at another couple who's kissing, definitely implying to the audience that that's the natural progression that should be taking place between these two lovely characters. And in the next few episodes, we see this progression of what should be a relationship between them. Isaac asks Charlie how he knew he liked Nick in that way, which honestly is such an AroAce thing to do. I literally didn't know either. They spend a lot of time together during the Paris trip and even share a kiss during the party episode. Seeing Isaac have a potential romantic connection is the only time in this series that I've seen the other characters and the show in general actually give a fuck about him. Season 1, they didn't seem to care about him at all, and they only started to pay attention to him when he began to hang out more with James. Even the characters within the show do the typical teenage stuff of teasing him, try to push him to be around James more, and when Isaac finally has enough and stands up for himself, he says exactly what I was thinking the whole time. Listen, I get you guys don't think my life is interesting unless I have some kind of romantic drama going on, but I'm sorry to break it to you, I don't like him back, okay? You can all go about your day now. And his friends do nothing. Oh my god, it made me so mad to watch. There was no remorse, no follow-up from his friends. Even the show acted like the outburst just didn't happen at all, and literally had him being around his friends like nothing happened in the next scene or two. And I'm not gonna lie, it really makes the other characters look like complete dicks. I was waiting for a scene where either Elle or Charlie went up to him and be like, hey, I'm really sorry what happened, but I'm here for you and it's okay if you don't like James like that. And just the general dismissal of Isaac and his feelings is so hard to watch. Honestly, I feel like the writers just didn't know what to do with him at all. At least so far, because I really don't know what they have planned for him in season 3. But honestly, I think the best example of this is during the hotel party episode. They have him reading a book the whole time instead of interacting with his friends, which I think is high-key unrealistic. And then during the truth or dare scene when Imogen kinda didn't let up on him for not having a celebrity crush. Not gonna lie, as an ace person myself, this episode was hard to watch. Well, actually the whole subplot was hard to watch because it just didn't feel cared about at all, either by the writers of the show or the actual characters, which really sucks because at its core, Heartstopper is about showing different kinds of relationship structures and how being any kind of queer should be celebrated, and they just don't give Isaac the kind of care that's needed in telling an aromantic asexual story because we don't see it a lot. The one thing I will say they got right is actually the feeling that no one cared, because most people still don't know what being aromantic is or what asexual is. And the general population really doesn't give a fuck about our communities. So by actually having all of his friends not care about what he's going through, they did kind of give an authentic asexual, aromantic experience. It's just not a good one. As someone who is asexual and has experienced being an ace teenager, it's incredibly lonely. It's incredibly isolating. Before I found the words that described the experiences I was having, it felt like I was broken or there was something wrong with me for not feeling all the things that I was clearly seeing all of my other friends having at that time. I think the other one thing that I did like about it was that he first heard about being AroAce from a queer art show where they were featuring an AroAce artist's work. I really love that scene, and I want to assume that person was in their mid-20s, so a little bit older AroAce person. Leave a comment below if I was wrong about the person's age, but I love that scene so much. And honestly, it was one of my favorites out of the whole season. Being able to see that there is community for Aro and Ace folk is so important, and also seeing how much love we can express made me tear up. I love that scene so much. It was such a beautiful scene, and I love the art in it as well. So I will give them credit for that. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. I don't know, I just had such high expectations for this season, and seeing what they do with Isaac, because I knew that the creator of Heartstopper was AroAce. And I don't know, the whole AroAce subplot just seemed like it really wasn't cared about very much from like higher production, which, like, you know, it's disappointing. Thank you all again for watching this video. Be sure to give a like, comment, and subscribe. I see all of you who don't sub. There's like 74% of you who watch my videos who do not subscribe. Subscribe! I'm trying to get to 50,000 subscribers. My little PSA for the video. Thank you again, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.